All right, settle in, crypto connoisseurs and curious newcomers alike. Welcome back to Boni's Life, your oasis of intellectual insight in the often chaotic desert of the crypto markets. I'm Boni, and for the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to dissect the rather eventful last 3 days in the crypto sphere. This episode outlines the fundamental analysis and key global events influencing the crypto market and specific cryptocurrencies for the period of May 12th, 2025 to May 14th, 2025. The analysis is based on data collected from various news sources, market data, aggregators, and community discussions. Major global economic and political events. U.S. economic data and Federal Reserve anticipation of U.S. CPI data highlighted the market's anticipation of upcoming U.S. Consumer Price Index CPI data. This typically creates cautious sentiment or volatility as traders await inflation figures which influence Federal Reserve policy. Fed Chair comments Moodrex, May 13th and 14th. Noted comments from the Fed Chair, which are always closely watched for clues on monetary policy direction. The specifics of these comments, e.g., stance on inflation, interest rates, would dictate their market impact. Hawkish comments could be bearish for risk assets, dovish bullish. DXY weakness. Moodrex, May 13th and 14th, mentioned DXY US dollar index weakness. A weaker dollar is often seen as bullish for risk assets like cryptocurrencies, as it can make them relatively cheaper for foreign investors and may signal a broader risk on appetite in global markets. FOMC meeting prior week. The Medium recaps mentioned the FOMC meeting on May 7th. While slightly outside the 3-day window, its lingering effects or interpretations, e.g., market digesting the Fed's stance, could still influence market sentiment early in the analyzed period. U.S.-China trade relations. Binance Square mentioned comments from former President Trump regarding U.S.-China trade. BitGet News also noted that eased trade tensions had led to a recovery in the Bitcoin market. Geopolitical stability, or even perceived easing of tensions between major economies, can positively impact global markets, including crypto. Regulatory landscape and government actions. U.S. crypto tax policies. Decrypt reported that U.S. lawmakers were urging the Treasury to reverse Biden-era tax policies, impacting corporate crypto holdings. This signals ongoing debate and potential for future regulatory changes that could be favorable, e.g., encouraging institutional adoption, or unfavorable to the crypto industry. French government and crypto. Decrypt reported that the French Interior Minister was scheduled to meet with crypto firms after a spate of kidnap attempts targeting individuals in the crypto space. This highlights both the growing mainstream interaction with crypto and the associated security and regulatory concerns that arise with increased adoption. Cred Inc. fraud case. Decrypt reported that ex-Cred executives pleaded guilty to a $150 million crypto fraud scheme. Such news can negatively impact investor sentiment by highlighting risks of fraud and mismanagement in the crypto space, potentially leading to calls for stricter regulation, though the impact might be limited if seen as an isolated case rather than systemic risk. Cartel crypto laundering. Decrypt reported on cartel bosses being charged with narco-terrorism with ties to crypto laundering. This type of news can attract negative regulatory scrutiny and reinforce negative public perceptions about crypto misuse for illicit activities, potentially hampering broader adoption efforts. Second, crypto-specific fundamental developments. Institutional adoption and investment, MicroStrategy, BTC purchase. Madrex noted a MicroStrategy Bitcoin purchase. Continued acquisitions by institutional players like MicroStrategy are generally seen as bullish signals, reinforcing confidence in Bitcoin as a legitimate treasury reserve asset and store of value. Standard Chartered and Falcon X deal. Decrypt reported a deal between Standard Chartered and Falcon X to improve crypto services for institutional clients. This is a positive sign of traditional financial institutions deepening their involvement and infrastructure in the crypto space, potentially leading to increased institutional inflows. Market sentiment indicators. Alt-season index. Madrex reported the alt-season index at 29 on May 13th and 24 on May 14th. A lower index, typically below 25 or trending down, indicates a shift towards Bitcoin season, meaning Bitcoin might be outperforming altcoins or attracting a larger share of capital flow relative to the broader altcoin market. This suggests a potential flight to perceived safety within crypto or BTC leading market movements. Narratives and ecosystems. May 12th to 14th. Ethereum staking and ecosystem. The Medium recap, relevant for May 12th, highlighted activity in Ethereum staking at Phi Eigen Lido. A strong staking sector indicates confidence in Ethereum's long-term viability and can reduce liquid supply. Real-world assets, RWAs via Securitize were mentioned. Medium recap, May 12th. The tokenization of real-world assets is a growing narrative, and positive developments can attract significant interest. Data sector projects mentioned in the Medium recap, May 12th, indicating potential interest in decentralized data solutions. Sui ecosystem BitGet news around May 12th noted that Sui-related products performed outstandingly, suggesting positive momentum and development within its ecosystem. Memecoins. While no specific major memecoin news was flagged for May 12th to 14th in the provided snippets beyond Dogecoin's OI, this sector is always prone to rapid shifts based on social trends. Specific coin fundamental news, May 12th to 14th. Bitcoin. Beyond institutional purchases, any news on ETF inflows, outflows, network upgrades, RG ordinals activity, Runes protocol adoption, or mining sector developments would be relevant. The reported whale activity and surging open interest, the crypto basic, May 14th, are key fundamental indicators of market interest and potential positioning. Ethereum. Trends in gas fees indicating network demand. Progress on future upgrades, e.g. Pectra, Layer 2 scaling solution adoption, and staking statistics are crucial. The surge in ETH OI, Finbold, May 14, is significant. XRP. Any updates on the SIC lawsuit are paramount for XRP. News related to its ODL on-demand liquidity, product adoption, or partnerships would also be key fundamental drivers. The surge in OI FX leaders, May 14th, suggests anticipation or reaction to news. Cardano. Focus on ecosystem development progress, e.g. new dApps, DeFi TVL growth, updates on Voltaire, governance era, and partnerships. The reported rally and support test, Crypto Times CCN May 12th, suggest market reaction to fundamentals or technicals. Solana, network performance and stability given past issues are key. Ecosystem growth, particularly in DeFi, NFTs, and DePIN, and news of new projects launching on Solana are important. The price pullback after a strong prior week suggests a consolidation phase. SY. As a newer Layer 1, focus on dApp launches, developer activity, user adoption metrics, and strategic partnerships. The reported strong performance of Sway-related products is a positive sign. WorldCoin. news around user adoption of its iris scanning technology, regulatory scrutiny in various countries, and developments in its identity protocol are critical. The mention of WLD as an incentive breached company is a small data point. Dogecoin, often influenced by social media sentiment, especially from high-profile figures, community initiatives, and any utility-focused developments, though these are less common for Doge. The rising OI, despite a price pullback, might trade May 14th, is an interesting fundamental observation, possibly indicating underlying holder conviction or speculative accumulation. Sonic Labs. The $10 million token sale for Sonic Labs, Decrypt May 12th, is project-specific news. If Sonic is a tradable token related to this, its fundamentals would revolve around the project's goals, US expansion, technology, and potential market fit. If it's purely project funding news, its market impact is indirect, related to sentiment around innovation in the space. Third, impact of global events on crypto and traditional markets, May 12th to 14th, 2025. CPI anticipation and Fed commentary. Uncertainty surrounding inflation data and Fed policy typically leads to cautious trading or increased volatility in both traditional markets, equities, bonds, and crypto. Hawkish signals could pressure both, while dovish interpretations or lower than expected inflation could boost them. The DXY weakness observed suggests markets might have been pricing in a less hawkish Fed or a risk-on sentiment. US-China trade sentiment. Easing trade tensions as reported generally benefits global equities and can spill over positively into crypto, which is often correlated with broader risk appetite. Regulatory news. Specific regulatory news, US tax policy discussions, French meetings, fraud cases, primarily impacts the crypto market directly. Positive regulatory clarity can boost confidence and prices, while negative news, fraud, illicit use, restrictive policies can dampen sentiment and lead to price declines or increased scrutiny. The impact on traditional markets is usually minimal unless the regulatory event is systemic to the financial system. Institutional moves, news like MicroStrategy's BTC purchase or Standard Chartered's institutional services expansion primarily buoys the crypto market, signaling growing acceptance and potential for capital inflows. This can sometimes have a minor positive psychological impact on tech-focused traditional market segments. Overall correlation. During this period, crypto likely continued to show some correlation with traditional risk assets, particularly tech stocks, in response to macroeconomic news. However, crypto-specific fundamentals, e.g., surging OI in specific coins, ecosystem news, would also drive idiosyncratic movements within the digital asset class. Note, this fundamental analysis is based on publicly reported information. Disclaimer. Folks, please remember, I am Boni, your guide through the crypto cosmos, but I'm not a financial advisor. This entire episode is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The crypto market is inherently volatile and carries significant risk. Any information discussed here should not be taken as investment advice. Do your own thorough research, and I mean thorough, like you're writing a PhD thesis on it. Consult with a qualified professional and never, ever invest more than you are prepared to lose. Seriously, don't be that person who remortgages their house to buy a coin named after a cartoon dog because someone on the internet said to the moon. Chuckle softly. Be smart, be informed, be Boni-like in your intellectual rigor. And that, my friends, is our crypto catch-up for May 12th to 14th, 2025. I hope you found it as intellectually stimulating to watch as I did to prepare. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Drop your thoughts, questions, and even your own well-reasoned analysis in the comments below. I do read them, especially the witty ones. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and may your trades be ever in your favor. After extensive research, of course. This is Boni, signing off from Boni's Life.